I didn't know that either. I didn't really know that either. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I didn't think it was that big a statement.
Enzo's every dog that was the dog you can't forget. And anybody who's ever owned a pet has one that they can't forget.
Kevin Costner has recently made headlines, but this time it's not for a new movie or TV show. Something truly heartbreaking has shaken the life of this Hollywood star, leaving fans everywhere in shock. Costner, who gave us unforgettable performances in Yellowstone, The Big Chill, and Silverado, is now facing one of his toughest moments yet. But what could have happened to cause such a turn in his life? Let's dig deeper into the devastating news that's changed Kevin Costner's life forever. The spark that set Kevin Costner's path. Kevin Costner's interest in acting began when he was quite young, but it wasn't until he was 23 years old in 1978 that he started to seriously think about pursuing it as a career. This shift happened during a very memorable time on his honeymoon with his first wife, Silva. During their honeymoon, an unexpected encounter with the famous actor Richard Burton played a crucial role in steering him toward acting. They happened to be on the same plane as Burton, who had bought 5 seats around him to ensure his privacy. Before we dive deeper, it's important to mention that this moment wasn't just a random meeting, it was a turning point that would change Kevin Costner's life in ways he never imagined. This sighting was no small thing for Kevin. He took it as a sort of sign that he should consider acting more seriously. Kevin took the chance to talk to Burton during the flight. They had a deep and private conversation that greatly inspired Kevin. When the flight was over and they were collecting their bags, Burton simply told Kevin, "Good luck." This small gesture from an admired actor sparked a new determination in him. After this encounter, Kevin didn't jump straight into acting roles. Instead, he started out behind the scenes. He worked as a stage manager at Raleigh Studios in Hollywood. He kept his acting dreams to himself because he felt that people might not take him seriously or might avoid him if they knew he was aspiring to be an actor. In an interview with Deadline, he mentioned that during this time he quietly observed everything about filmmaking, from the technical details to the directorial decisions. Kevin's acting career began slowly in the early 1980s with small roles in low-budget films and brief TV appearances. His roles during this time included parts in Malibu Hot Summer, Night Shift, and Table for Five. His first significant chance seemed to come in 1982 when he was cast in The Big Chill, directed by Lawrence Kasdan. This film had a notable cast including Glenn Close and Jeff Goldblum. Kevin played a character named Alex, whose death is central to the movie's plot. However, his excitement was short-lived as all of his scenes were cut from the final version of the film. Though his scenes were cut, this experience was not a complete loss. Kevin's professionalism and the impression he left on Kasdan during the shooting of The Big Chill were significant. Reflecting on the experience, Kevin said in an interview with Live with Kelly and Ryan, "Everything I wanted to happen did happen." Kasdan was so impressed that he cast Kevin in a major role in his next film, the 1985 Western Silverado. Kevin was born on January 18, 1955 in Linwood, California, and grew up in nearby Compton. He was the youngest of 3 brothers, but sadly his middle brother died at birth. His mother, Sharon Ray, was a welfare worker, and his father, William Costner, had a career that spanned being an electrician to becoming an executive in the utility sector. The family's background was quite mixed, with Kevin having German, English, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh roots. Raised in a Baptist home, the values of faith and community were deeply instilled in him from a young age. Kevin wasn't particularly strong academically, but he thrived in sports and other creative activities. He played football, learned to play the piano, wrote poetry, and participated in his church's choir. A defining moment in his childhood came when he watched How the West Was Won in 1962, sparking a lifelong passion for Western movies, a genre that would later define much of his career. Kevin's official entry into the film world was with Sizzle Beach, USA, a low-budget film shot between 1978 and 1979, but not released until 1981 and again in 1986, which confused some into thinking his first role was actually in The Touch in 1983. In his early days, Kevin also made brief appearances in films like Ron Howard's Night Shift in 1982 as Frat Boy Number 1, where he was part of a wild party scene in a New York City morgue. Although these roles were small, they helped him gain a foothold in the industry. He also did commercials, notably for the Appalisa computer, and appeared in Table for Five in 1983. After starting with small roles, Kevin faced many challenges, but something big was about to happen that would change everything. How Silverado made Kevin shine. His first significant opportunity to display his acting skills came with a minor role in the 1983 nuclear Holocaust drama Testament. This part, along with the relationships he built, particularly with the director Lawrence Kasdan, were pivotal. These early experiences helped pave the way for his future success, shaping him into the professional he aimed to be and leading to more prominent roles in Hollywood. Keeping his word to Costner, Kasdan gave him a new chance in his upcoming Western movie called Silverado in 1985. This role really helped Costner become famous. Playing Jake, a bold and carefree cowboy, Costner really stood out among the other actors. His energetic acting caught the attention of both moviegoers and film critics. The movie Silverado did really well in theaters and helped make Costner known as a new and exciting actor, especially in Western movies. In the same year, Costner was in two other movies, Fandango and American Flyers, which both helped him become even more well-known. In Fandango, he was Gardner Barnes, a chilled-out college graduate who goes on a road trip with his buddies, showing he could be funny and serious at the same time. In American Flyers, he played Marcus Summers, a bicyclist who goes on an emotional trip with his brother, mixing sports drama with a story about family love. Costner also showed his range when he appeared with Kiefer Sutherland in a special one-hour episode of Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories, showing he could do both movies and TV well. By the middle of the 1980s, Kevin Costner had moved from small parts in commercials to main roles in big movies. What did this mean for the iconic roles that would define his career? Kevin Costner's rise to movie stardom began in 1987 when he starred as federal agent Elliot Ness in Brian De Palma's The Untouchables. In this movie, Costner led a great cast, including Robert De Niro and Sean Connery, playing the determined lawman who took down the famous gangster Al Capone. His role as Ness made Costner known as a charming, moral leading actor. He continued this success with the thriller No Way Out the same year, where he played a naval officer caught in a complex web of political deceit and crimes, showing his ability to handle both action-packed and suspenseful roles. Costner's reputation in Hollywood's top circle grew with iconic roles toward the end of the 1980s. In Bull Durham 1988, he played Crash Davis, an experienced minor league baseball player. His rough charm and timing for jokes worked perfectly with Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins, making the movie a favorite in the sports movie genre. His next big hit, Field of Dreams, 1989, saw him as an Iowa farmer who builds a baseball field in his cornfield, inspired by a voice he can't explain. The movie's mix of magical elements and deep feelings turned it into a cultural icon, with Costner playing the average guy whose quiet belief in the unlikely deeply moved audiences. By 1990, Costner had become more than just an actor. He became a creator behind the scenes. He teamed up with producer Jim Wilson to start TIG Productions, which helped bring his dream project, Dances with Wolves, to life. In this grand western, he was both the director and the star, playing a Civil War soldier who becomes friends with a Native American tribe. The movie was a huge success both with critics and at the box office, earning 12 Academy Award nominations and winning 7, including Best Picture and Best Director for Costner. His broad vision, skillful storytelling, and sensitive portrayal of the Lakota people earned him wide praise, making him one of Hollywood's most successful and ambitious figures. Kevin was finally getting his chance to shine, but would his next roles make him a true star? Stepping into legendary roles. That same year, Costner starred in Revenge, 1990, a powerful drama directed by Tony Scott alongside Anthony Quinn and Madeline Stowe. Even though Costner initially wanted to direct the film himself, his portrayal of a former Navy aviator caught in a dangerous love affair kept audiences interested despite the film's mixed reviews. In 1991, Costner took on the legendary role of Robin Hood in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, where he also served as a producer. Despite mixed reviews, especially for not having a British accent, the movie was a huge hit at the box office, thanks in part to the dynamic performances of co-stars Alan Rickman, Morgan Freeman, and Christian Slater, and the movie's sense of adventure. Rickman's unforgettable performance as the Sheriff of Nottingham added to the movie's appeal, but it was definitely Costner's star power that was the main draw. Costner continued his string of high-profile roles with Oliver Stone's JFK, 1991, where he played District Attorney Jim Garrison, who led the investigation into President John F. Kennedy's assassination. The movie caused a lot of debates for its speculative take on historical events, but was equally praised for its bold style and intense acting. Costner's portrayal of Garrison was praised for its depth, earning him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. Roger Ebert praised his performance, stating, as Garrison, Costner delivers a controlled yet passionate performance. Like someone holding on to a compelling idea he can't let go of, he pushes forward, insisting there's more to the assassination than appears. In 1992, Costner starred alongside Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard phenomenon, largely thanks to the chemistry between Costner and Houston and its unforgettable soundtrack featuring Houston's version of I Will Always Love You. Costner known as a romantic lead. Costner's ability to move between different movie genres was further highlighted in A Perfect World. In this movie, he played Butch Haynes, an escaped prisoner who unexpectedly forms a bond with a young boy. Kevin Costner went back to making Western movies, starting with Wyatt Earp in 1994, which was directed by Lawrence Kasdan. He played the famous law officer Wyatt Earp in a more serious and thoughtful way than others had before. However, this film didn't really hit it off with moviegoers or film critics, and it was overshadowed by another movie called Tombstone, which came out a year earlier and offered a more exciting story about the same man. In that same year, Costner appeared in The War, a movie about a man who fought in the Vietnam War and had trouble adjusting to normal life again when he returned home. Even though a young actor named Elijah Wood played alongside him, this film didn't get much attention and ended up being one of the few times Costner's movies didn't do well during that era. Kevin Costner faced a lot of ups and downs in his career during the 90s, which included some big successes but also some big disappointments. He tried something different by starring in two futuristic films that were supposed to be big hits, but ended up not doing well at all. The first was Waterworld in 1995, a movie set in a future where the whole Earth is flooded because all the ice caps have melted. This movie was a huge project with a massive budget, and it faced lots of problems like bad weather and spending too much money, making it the most expensive movie made up to that time. Although Waterworld made enough money at the box office to avoid being a total flop, the reviews were mixed. Some people liked its bold and grand scale, but others thought its story was too complicated and didn't flow well. Despite its rough start, Waterworld later gained a small group of dedicated fans, and some think it's an underrated movie today. Kevin's path to fame wasn't easy, but he kept going, leading to one moment that would change his life again. Kevin Costner's hardest challenges. The release of The Postman in 1997 was a big blow to Costner's career. In this movie set after the apocalypse, Costner didn't just act, he also directed. The film was criticized for being too long, having over-the-top themes, and Costner's self-centered directing style. It did so badly at the box office that it won 5 Golden Raspberry Awards, which are given to the worst films, including awards for the worst film, worst actor, and worst director. These failures, especially The Postman, hurt Costner's image as a reliable star and director, marking a real low point in his career. However, he kept on working in movies. How did he manage to bounce back after these tough times? Costner's career saw a big comeback in the 2010s with several successful projects that helped him regain his status in Hollywood. One of the high points was when he played Devil Anse Hatfield in the 2012 miniseries called Hatfields and McCoys on the History Channel. This show told the story of a famous feud between two families, the Hatfields and the McCoys, that almost led to a war between two states. Costner's portrayal of Devil Anse, the leader of the Hatfield family, was praised for its depth and control, earning him many awards, including an Emmy and a Golden Globe. The miniseries was very popular, with over 13 million people watching the first episode, and it played a big part in Costner's return to prominence. After this success, Costner showed his skills across a range of different movie types. In 2014, he played a veteran CIA agent named Thomas Harper in Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, guiding the main character played by Chris Pine. In the same year, he was in 3 Days to Kill and played a football team manager under a lot of pressure in draft day. He also produced and starred in Black or White, a drama about a family that premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. In this film, he played a grieving grandfather fighting for custody of his biracial granddaughter, and his performance was noted for its emotional depth. In 2015, Costner starred as Jim White, a coach of a high school cross-country team in McFarland, USA, a movie based on the true story of a Latino team that overcame many obstacles to win a state championship. His role in this film resonated with audiences, further establishing him as an actor who can play inspiring, relatable characters. The next year, he appeared in Hidden Figures as Al Harrison, a supervisor at NASA who played a part in breaking down racial and gender barriers during the space race. This film was both a critical and commercial success, and Costner's performance was part of an ensemble praised for bringing a crucial moment in American history to life. In 2017, he starred with Jessica Chastain in Molly's Game, directed by Aaron Sorkin, where he played the father of Chastain's character in a strong supporting role that showed off his dramatic abilities. In 2018, Costner made a significant move by starring in and producing the modern Western TV series Yellowstone. This show follows the Dutton family, who own the biggest contiguous ranch in the United States, as they deal with family issues, land disputes, and threats from outside forces. This was Costner's first regular role on television, and his portrayal of John Dutton, the tough and determined family leader, quickly became a defining role in his career. Yellowstone became one of the most watched shows on cable TV, gathering a large and loyal fan base and confirming Costner's lasting appeal in the entertainment industry. In 2019, Costner ventured into voice acting for the first time, lending his voice to Enzo, a thoughtful and wise dog, in The Art of Racing in the Rain. This film, based on a popular book, showcased Costner's ability to convey deep emotions even with just his voice, marking another milestone in his diverse career. Could Kevin Costner's recent struggles be part of a much bigger issue in Hollywood, or is there something deeper happening behind the scenes? Share your thoughts and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.